Okay.
Instagram does do that a lot. It's super annoying, but whatever. As long as you're able to see me, or yeah, you see me and they can see both of us. That's all that matters. So,
Yes.
how are you doing tonight?
I am great. So I was deciding. So again, for the our viewers, our ongoing viewers, I guess you say. I'm excited right now. That's why I can't really think and talk. So I was getting out of class, so that's why I was a little late. So please give me grace. I do ask for grace. And so it just enriched me and pushed me, and oh, it pulled on that headspace. Yes. And yes, she is, Ash. I was just like, I didn't know this was online dating. Like I feel like I need to go off the camera, get dressed, do my hair, put it up in a nice high pony, wear a black shirt with black tie, throw on some polo real quick, and be like, I am ready to be snatched.
The nerve of you. No, I just, you know what? I'm heavy. I'm deep in my goddess energy right now. I'm deep
Yes,
in
you
my
are.
goddess energy right now. And Spirit said, bitch, you thinking small. You need to be thinking big. Think big, bitch. So I had to put this outfit on. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. If it's your first time here, welcome. If not, welcome back.
Yes.
I'm Ashley Anye, an intuitive alchemist and energy reader, and I'm just here to help y'all heal. And we're healing with humor because laughter is always the best medicine. Talk to these people, bestie.
Yes, I am B, also Magoon. I am the tool and instrument that spirit will use, as spirit pleases. So you may see me operate in a multitude of gifts. Tonight this is Cards and Conversations, and I do pull the cards, but hey, these last few weeks, sometimes I did not need to give the card to give or use the card to give the message. But as Ashley stated, we are here to help you heal um, the way spirit sees fit. So popping those hands, making you laugh, making you get up and dance, tell you, girl, you look good, and we ain't seen you in a minute. We gonna do that for you. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. And if it's not your first time here, welcome back. Your energy is so different in your face. I can see it tonight. You're in that nice swoop energy.
Okay.
Damn, I wish I could see you, Ash. Take a picture and send it to me. I need to see my bestie. Like, this is horrific. Why can't
Right.
I see you?
Oh.
Man, I cannot
We
repeat
but
what you just said.
somebody flag her, remove her.
No, don't flag her.
Yeah, don't flag. It was just a joke. It was just a joke.
Don't flag her.
Yeah.
And guys, if you're trying to join our live, we do allow people to come on with us, but we have to properly vet you. So we have to know that you're
Yep.
not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and Rice Krispies. So send us a DM, either myself or Magoon. And we can, converse together. We can talk about what you want to bring to the platform, but it has to be prior to us going live. Just an FYI, because I've seen multiple people thus far requesting to be on the live, and we just don't pull random people in. All right, so let's go ahead and get into tonight's topic. All right.
Yes.
Everybody loves to talk about healing, right? Love and light, peace, healing, meditation, granola, things of the likes. But you can't truly know the light if you've never sat in the dark. Okay? If you've never sat in the dark and sat with yourself and sat in your trauma, sat in your toxicity, because at one point we've all been toxic. Don't let me hear anyone within the sound of my voice. Don't let me hear y'all say y'all ain't never been toxic. At one point, everybody has been toxic, all right? But you grow through what you go through. And the biggest point of being toxic is not staying toxic, okay? You live and you learn. You're supposed to grow through, okay? Not continue on being toxic. It's supposed to be a lesson learned. When you know better, you do better, all right? So a lot of us have been told to demonize those parts, all right? To shove them down, like those feelings. you know, those dark feelings. Oh, I'm toxic. Let me just, you know, not, you know, show that side. Or if I am going to show that side, that's just who I am. All right. I'm toxic, you know, fuck it, whatever. And please excuse my language tonight, guys. I'm just on one tonight. This topic is really near and dear to my heart. So I hope this video doesn't get flagged or anything. But all of that does not bury the very lessons that is going to set us free. Okay. You are who you are, true, yes. But there's levels to this shit. And you're supposed to learn. Your soul returned back to earth to learn certain lessons. So whatever you didn't learn or you failed to grasp, that your prism did not focus in on previous lifetimes, this is a time for you guys to learn those lessons, okay? This is not your first rodeo, which is why you guys have deja vu. You've been here before. A lot of us already know each other, which is why we're so comfortable around each other. Yeah, we may have just met online or in passing or in school, college, but a lot of us have already been friends before in previous lifetimes, which is why you feel comfortable and certain people's soul and spirit just feel familiar because we've already done this before. Yes. All right? So never see darkness as your enemy. Okay? A lot of people will have you demonize it. Oh, the darkness is devil. When you do that, you're the devil. Okay? The key to it is to transmute it. Learn how to transmute that energy. That's why I always say when I come in for my opening, I'm an alchemist. I transmute pain into power. Yes. I transmuted my pain into purpose, baby, okay? Yes. And got paid for it. This is what you guys need to learn how to do. If you're not doing it already, I had to learn how to do it, okay? And like I said, it's levels to it. It's tough, but once you get the hang of it, it's like riding a bike. You never lose the method, okay? There is methods to this madness, all right? And your darkness is not an enemy. Like I said, it's a mirror to show you where your wounds are. It points to places you've been hurt, abandoned, and misunderstood. And here's the most powerful part. That darkness has kept you alive. That darkness has kept all of us alive. And it has to be duality. Bestie and I talk about this all the time. You can't have the good without the bad. Okay. It's all about duality. Hey, bro. And if you have duality, you'll never feel you're lacking in any space because you have that balance. All right, guys? So think about it. Your shadow is the part that learned to fight back, that learned to have that armor, that wall of protection. Okay, it's the part that saw the danger and said, not today, baby. Okay, it's the part that protected your softness until you were ready to show it again. But again, it's all about balance. Okay, as above, so below. You can't just allow that darkness to infiltrate your entirety, to just take over your personality, take over your world, take over your universe. You have to have that balance. And a lot of people have allowed, I'm sure, Bestie, you can attest to this, a lot of people have allowed their darkness, maybe how they grew up, relationships, to harden them, to make them hard. Yes. To turn them cold, so to speak. Have you been around someone who you know, like they look like what they've been through? You look at them and you're like, damn, they done been through some ish. And they look like it based on their aura, their energy, their face. You can look at certain people and just tell like they've been through some ish. And then there's other people that have been through traumatic experiences and their face is just as soft and delicate and wholesome. And it's just about being able to transmute it. Those two people are completely different, went through completely different circumstances. The difference is person B chose to transmute that energy versus what person A chose to do, which was self-medication. Allow those experiences to harden them, to make them tough so that, oh, no one's going to hurt me anymore. That person lied to me, so I'm going to make sure nobody lies to me anymore. I'm going to make sure I never get lied to again, and that affects everything in your life, especially your relationships, because then you don't allow someone to come in and really try to love you. That really affects your relationships, okay? That affects how you are at work. You don't trust co-workers. I don't know if you're really supposed to trust your co-workers, because when you go to work, you're going to be there to work and go home. but it doesn't allow you to be able to cultivate anything healthy in your life. Just in my personal opinion.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So here's the magic. Here is the magic, my beautiful people. The moment you stop running from your shadow and start listening to it, you'll find out it's been guiding you to the light the whole time. And that's where a lot of people find their purpose. That's where I found my purpose, in the dark, in the trenches, okay, in the backwoods. When I was down on my knees in fetal position, crying like a baby, that's when I found my light. Okay, that's when I found, you know what, this may not be as bad as it seems, and not so much that it's happening. Why is it happening to me? What is it teaching me?
Exactly.
That was like the Messiah, okay, of me just trying to figure out, okay, what's going on with me? Why are all these things happening to me? No, what is it teaching me? What is it teaching me about myself? What do I need to learn? All right. So the question I have for you, Bessie, you know, I always got a question.
Yep.
After I have a conversation, when has your darkness actually protected you? What parts of your darkness has actually protected you? And I'll also pose this question for the collective. You guys can type in the comments. When has your darkness protected you? Because you know, darkness is not all bad. I always tell people, don't try to eradicate your ego. Master your ego, because you're going to need your ego in certain situations.
You know,
so don't try to get rid of that aspect. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I will say, yeah. Okay. So, and I shared this before about how whenever I was younger, I would get depressed, and that's what led me to writing. It was because I could feel the darkness. It pushed me to write, and that pushed me to release. So it actually protected me because I could have easily just held it within, right? Walked around angry all the time. I could have became a bully. Um, while I was at App, you know, that translated to so many things, and Ashley and a few others were privy to the poetry that I would write during that time. Now, some of it was a little like, be what you want today, okay? But it all came from that same place. It was just like, excuse me, I was yearning for certain things that I wasn't getting physically, right? There were people that I was engaging with that wasn't giving me what I need, and so it became a depression for me. But that depression turned into art. And I would even go on to say that even with the release of it all became beautiful. And I laughed when I heard this said about this artist, and y'all will all agree. But because I could relate so much, because much of the poetry and the writings that I wrote seemed to hit differently than my happy-go-lucky ones, because it came from a dark place. But Mary J. Blige, they said she always wrote a hit when she went through the most shit. That's the saying. And it's like,
right.
But it was true. Like, think back to every album, think back to the songs. And I would specifically say 2006, the Breakthrough album. I'm telling you, every song hit. And that was because Mary went to a dark place. I actually went to the concert in Charlotte, North Carolina, and saw her. That was so special for me because that was my first concert that I had ever gone to, like at that capacity, to see an artist. But she literally was preaching. I said, she's not a singer no more. Mary has become a preacher, and we didn't know she was ordained. Like, I left saying that. And okay. And I said, you know, the amount of trauma that she worked through. She taught it to the crowd. She didn't just sing the song. She was actually saying, no, you got to let it go. She even mentioned Erykah Badu. She said, y'all know Erykah Badu's song Bag Lady? She said, I had heard that song so many times and it never clicked till it applied to me. And she brought out these these blocks, I should say, and she stacked them up. And she was like, I would carry this load with me. She said, but you see this box? This one was light. She said, but then I took it to the next relationship. And then she put that into the next box. And she said, and then this one, it's a little bit bigger, but it's a little heavier because I carried the thing from the last relationship to this relationship. She said, and I was carrying it with me. And then she put it to the next box and to the next box. And she was like, I can't carry this. She was like, God, I can't carry this. What do you want me to do with it? And he was like, let it go. Why are you carrying it? Mm-hmm. And that's where the darkness for myself took me. It took me to a place where I said, I can't carry this with me. I gotta find a release. And my release was in my writing. Sorry, that was so long.
Right. No, I love it. And just to build off of what you said, going back to Mary, I sympathize and completely understand why she put her pain in her music, because everybody goes through pain. And I hate to say it, but sometimes pain sells. And she knew that what she was going through, someone in some hood, on some avenue, in some project, in some house, was going through the same thing. So she knew that was going to sell. Or Puffy or whoever her team was at the time, they knew what she was going through was going to sell. Yeah. And I hate to say I love that Mary, because I know that Mary was, on drugs, in an abusive relationship, but that Mary was raw. That Mary was in her element. Mm-hmm. Whatever element she was in at that time, she was in it, raw. It was no filter, no nothing. And I know that when you are faced with darkness and you face it authentically, that's when you're going to get an authentic response and authentic responses from people. So that Mary was authentic. And I think some of her best albums sold when she was on drugs and when she was in those abusive relationships. She was authentic, she wasn't trying to hide anything. Yeah. But that just goes to show you that when you're honest and authentic, the universe will always meet you halfway and always provide everything that you need. No, you don't have to go through what Mary went through, but it just goes to show you that being authentic and stepping in your authenticity is going to get you whatever you want. Just be real. And whatever you do, whoever you do it with, just be real, guys, all right? Authenticity sells. And we do have a comment from the collective. Soraya said her darkness always pushes her to step it up to the next level. Yes. Yeah. Right? Because you know what? Your darkness could cause you to move 10 steps back. So I like that, Soraya. Your darkness actually makes you move 10 steps ahead and to step it up to the next level. I love that. And it's so true. You can let, something make you or break you. And when you let it break you, you never know what you could have become, what you could have been. And you don't want to go out of this world with any regrets. You know what they say, people on their deathbed always, they're last dying testaments, always are. I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have lived this way. I wish I could have told this person this, that, and the third. Don't go out wishing, guys. Just live your life. I don't use the slogan YOLO, because I don't believe you only live once. I believe Earth is a transitional process and you move on to the next phase. But I do believe that when you're on this plane, okay, when you're on this planet, Mother Gaia, Atlantis, do what you love. Do it, put your back into it, because you don't know what comes next. What if your next assignment is just to sit there and just watch people on Earth? Okay? What if that's your next assignment? To sit Great
Exactly.
Spirit, your ancestors, whoever, and just watch Earth and everybody just up. You don't you just never know what your next assignment is. So live life, live it up. All right. So thank you for answering that, and thank you, Soraya, for answering the question in the chat. So guys, this next question may be a little personal. I don't know. I had to pose it and I had to ask because this is really something that I want to know from you, Bessie, of course, and from you guys out there. Okay, if your shadow could speak right now, what would it say to you? Okay, and I'm gonna go first since I'm trying to get all up in your business.
Go to your room.
If my shadow could speak right now, it would tell me not to run from my emotions. This is something that I have been diligently working on throughout my spiritual journey, being comfortable in my emotions because I've always internalized everything and I've always been logical in my responses versus just being authentic in how I feel. I've always thought my emotions through, if that makes sense. Like, I'll think if this is worth crying over, or I'll think, okay, should I have, done something different? Should I have reacted different? So that's something I have been really conscious of not doing. Like, when I feel something, I feel it.
Right.
When I want to say something, I say it. As long as it's within reason and it's respectful, guys. Don't get my words twisted. Like, I'm not just going to walk up to someone who screwed me over and just, like, empty the clip. I'm saying when I feel something, I say it versus internalizing it and being like, oh, well, it's not the right time to say it because, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. Like, I've been intentional about living in the moment and speaking on what I feel versus internalizing it.
I know. That's why I was laughing. You couldn't see me earlier, but I was laughing because I saw that. Because I could hear her say that.
Girl, I love it.
I could hear her say that.
Girl, let me tell you. Sometimes my higher self be telling me that too. Like, what are you doing? And I be like, listen, I'm existing, okay? You put me on Earth. You put this spiritual being having a human experience on Earth with no tools. I had to literally find myself in the midst of my darkness through my dark night of the soul. What do you expect me to do? Come on now. So I be having like one-on-one conversation with my higher self. Like, really? Like, you really want me to just like be all that I can be, like I'm in the damn army? I'm on Earth, the ghettoest planet there is. Like, you couldn't put me on Pluto, Mars, Uranus, hell, even Venus. You put me on Earth? Like, are you serious? So yeah, we have these conversations every now and then. But girl, you grow through what you go through. That's all I can say. You grow through what you go through, and literally, I try not to use that as an excuse because there is somebody somewhere that has it worse, and I always have to remind myself of that. There is somebody somewhere that has it worse, girl. But yeah, it's tough. I love that. Cut the shit, bitch. I need to tell myself that whenever I feel like giving up, I need to tell myself that. I may just write that on my mirror. Honestly. What about you, Bestie? If your shadow could speak right now, what would it say to you?
For me, I would say it would thank me for finding balance to the point where I can use it the way I need to. Instead of I don't want to say instead of letting it control me, because it never did, just because of who I am. There we go. Thank you, Spirit. It would thank me for understanding the of finding the balance so I don't mishandle the darkness.
Okay.
And that's important. That's something that we all have to strive to, is to, because it's so easy to go dark.
Yeah.
It's so easy. And when you're saying no, I'm not going to go dark, but I'm going to take the perception and the perspective from that dark place and change it to something else, like you said earlier, alchemize it into something else, into positive energy. That takes a lot
Yeah.
of work, because your
Mhm.
your shadow self will have you go through a tunnel. And I'm even going to say this, even when you may feel like you're not successful, even when you
Right.
do go down the rabbit hole, you get to a certain point before your dark self said, but hey, are we really going to do this though? Because think about
Mhm.
X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
And when people, I just heard the word lawlessness. So when people operate in lawlessness, they do any and everything, whatever comes to mind. They don't think about the consequences. They just do.
Mhm.
That I did pull cards earlier. I'm just going to say this. Let me see if it came out. Yeah. So the first card that came out is the Temperance card.
Ooh, balance.
Balance. So you have to
Balance.
use equal balance with both
Mhm.
energies. You can't be too much light, and you can't be too much dark.
Too much.
You got to have
Mhm.
both. So that's why when you find that balance, you will
Mhm.
use both equally, like it's intended to. Because if you think about it, how the universe gets us to our highest self is through dark moments in our lives, because it
Mhm.
uses it as a steering guide to
Mhm.
highlight the light that lives within. I'm done.
Mhm. I love that. And you know what comes to mind when I think about that, like balance? I think of wisdom. Because when you have wisdom, you're able
Mm-hmm.
to differentiate between, okay, does this need all my energy, all my time, all of my focus? And if not, then let me just move on. Let me feel my feelings. Let me acknowledge what I'm feeling and move on. And but you have to understand, and overstand that wisdom is only sustainable if you allow yourself to feel through everything. Like, when was the last time you actually thanked your darkness? Okay, instead of running from it, instead of trying to escape it, instead of trying to block it out or internalize it like I used to do, when was the last time you actually thanked your darkness, sat with it, and said, all right,
Mm-hmm.
it's time for you to leave? I think I put that in my story a couple days ago. You must sit with your darkness. You must allow it to teach you. You must never allow it to stay. I'm going to say that again. You must thank your darkness. You must allow it to teach you. You must never allow it to stay, because when it stays, that's when it becomes a permanent fixture in your life and you become dark. Remember, you are who you hang around. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
what nobody says. If you hang around people with growth mindsets, you're going to feel like an ant coming to them with any ideas, because you're going to think that they're going to just, shoot down whatever you say and think that you think that you're all that. You understand? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So you are who you hang around. And I forgot where I was going with that. I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, balance. Like, you gotta have balance. Balance is essential. And when you embrace both, the pain and the joy, the wounds and the wisdom, you become whole and you become unshakable. Nothing can rattle your feathers. Yeah, you're going to go through ups and downs, trials and tribulations, but you become unshakable when you can master your darkness, because people will try to use your darkness against you. Oh, look at that person. They're going to get fired up. They're going to turn into how they used to be back in the day. Or, watch out for so and so because they get like this, but they get like that. People
Mm-hmm.
will try to use your darkness against you. And they can't do that anymore once you have the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding of who you are to the core, which is why learning about yourself is so essential and it's so important. It's so important. And sometimes it may seem like it's an arduous task, going through all of the motions of why you were hurt, what you went through growing up, how your upbringing has affected you. But it's essential in growing. It's essential in learning, and it's essential
Mhm.
in evolving into the person that you were supposed to be. You are not your pain. You are not your trials and tribulations. Don't wear them like armor. Don't wear them as don't wear your pain as a badge of armor. Okay,
Yeah.
because that's not who you are. That's what you experience, but that's not who you are. Okay.
And I want to quickly
Yeah. Go
say,
ahead. Go ahead.
I want to quickly say that there was two things that you said too. I got to remember the first one, but the second one, oh, no, the first thing I was going to say was that, so I think it's important for everybody to know that I was going to, so for our first time viewers, men actually never talk about what we talk about. But I was going to actually give her this topic tonight because based off of a conversation. And I happened to look today and I said, oh my God, I haven't even talked to her. And it's right on time. And it's because I've seen a lot of people lately go so easily into their dark side. And you can easily spin out when you're in your darkness. And one thing about your darkness is that your darkness wants you to take control over it. Your darkness does is not there for you to let it rule you. It's there to help you understand and see what it is in your life that you're missing. And remember, I said spirit uses it as a guide when we go through trials and tribulations in our lives to take us places. That's both internally and externally. Because think about it. Say for example, and I know this may be a touchy topic for a lot of people, but let's take rape for an example. When someone has gone through rape, that is a mental, a physical, and a spiritual type of attack that your body has gone through. And if you don't properly heal that person, and because I have seen it, going back to when you asked me, have I seen it? Yes. When a person who has been raped doesn't properly heal, they easily turn to drugs. And guess what? We call them the crackheads. We see them strung out to the point where they're becoming, as they're saying in San Francisco and other places, the zombies that we're seeing because they haven't processed it. Some do turn to prostitution. Some do become murderers. And they fight people, or they're really abusive. People call them, oh, that girl's crazy, that guy's crazy. No, there is a mental trauma that they haven't healed from, and what we're seeing is that dark shadow side telling them and is showing to the world, this person needs help, this person needs healing. You can't have healing without darkness.
Right.
And then the second point that I wanted to point out is, yes, we did talk about this. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is that once you have healed yourself, because remember, we always, well, this is more so a church thing, but it can go for spirituality. We go through these things not for ourselves, but for other people. Because guess what? When especially if you are a healer, you will go through the darkness that you're supposed to help other people with before you get in contact with them. Why? Because you need to know what you are looking at specifically. It's almost like you come with the cheat sheet and you're looking, you like, okay, this person got this symptom, this symptom, this symptom. Oh, girl, you need to heal because you holding on to some stuff and you haven't forgiven somebody. And I don't know who the person is, I don't know the circumstances, but baby girl, sir, you got to heal. You got to forgive that person. And that's the only way you're gonna get your healing. And most people don't get that.
It's so true. Oh my God, it is so true. And that is why a lot of us, earth angels, star seeds, healers, seers, we go through a lot of ish because we have to know how to help you transmute your darkness. Okay. And oh my God, that is a great point because if you don't transmute that darkness, chances are the victim becomes the victimizer.
Yep.
We're seeing that now with Diddy. We're seeing that now right
Yep.
before our eyes. He was a victim. Supposedly, okay? Allegedly, he was a victim. And
yes, say allegedly.
He didn't transmute that energy and heal. He became the victimizer. So that's why it is so important for you guys to heal, because if not, then you will allow your pain to be a badge of armor and become a victimizer, because you have just engulfed in that pain and you haven't allowed it to heal you. You've allowed it to just take over your entire being.
Yep.
That's what happens. Nobody is born evil, I don't think. In my opinion, I think that that's learned. I think that's a learned trait, or people that are hurt, victims become victimizers because they choose to not heal or internalize that hurt. But you said you pulled cards. You want to get to what you pulled?
I can.
I'm done with the conversation.
Because, so like I said, the first card, like I said, was the Temperance card, and we already talked about balance. Ironically, if you all, well, you probably more than likely did not see it on my channel, but if you go to YouTube, on my Instagram page, I should say, but if you go to YouTube, you will find the video of the Spiritual Progress Report, and the Temperance card came out there as well. So just wanted to share that. The next card that came out is the Star card. This card also came out earlier. I really don't know if I could share. I'm gonna cover it a little bit just in case, because it's the Star card, and we all know it's represented by a young woman who's naked. So just going to do that. But in order to get to that place that you want to become, like in order to get to all your hopes and dreams and your wishes and your aspirations, you know that you can't take that darkness with you, right? You can't. So, and it's because it's going to be highlighted, and what you was trying to hide, people will start to see. And I think a lot of people, and and Soraya knows the person that one of the people that we talked about yesterday. And one of the things I can say about that particular person is that that person could easily shine, right? Because of the personality. But what covers the shine is that darkness that's within that person never let go. And I know because we had conversations, and the person let me know it's hard for me to forgive. It's hard for me to let go. And it's like, but that's the reason why you're in certain predicaments, right? So when you try to take that with you and get into the light, but you think nobody can see it, it's like the drug addict. I've been watching Snowfall lately. I've been wanting to watch that for some time. So I got into Snowfall. Right. So I forgot the young lady's name, but when at first you see her, she's nice, and then she starts sniffing the coke, and all of a sudden you see her physically change, and she's like, "No, I'm not on that stuff. I'm not on that stuff." And she's shaking, and her mouth is dried. You see the residue of her having dry skin, and it's like, "Oh no, I'm fine. And when you acting erratically, and for those of you who can see me, I'm an actor, so I'm just saying, you acting like this, and you shaking, and you got the shakes, and you pulling on your hair, and you thinking you're like this. And it's like those memes. What I think I'm doing, but what the rest of the world actually see. And that's what it is for people who try to cover their darkness. They're thinking that they're like nice and presentable, and really they talking like this, like, "Oh, what's up, man? I'm just saying. And they're like, and we're looking at them like, okay. And most time we do write those people off because we don't want to be bothered with the darkness. We don't, because especially if we have been fighting through our own darkness, baby, I don't have time to fight yours and mine too. I can't save you. But thank you, Spirit. But the theme that I have been hearing that I heard all last week, even on Sunday, was remember in the airplane, They said when the plane is going down, you have to pull the oxygen mask over your own face first before you can help somebody else. So if you're dealing with the darkness and this person is around you, baby, I love you, but I got to take care of me first. So,
Let it go right now.
right. So that I then can help you. Because what happens is when you get that balance, baby, you'll be in the position to be the star of that person's life. And if you look at the top star above her head, it's the biggest star out there and it's not the sun. That's how bright you become to help guide other people out of their darkness. The next card, the lover's card. That's when, okay, I can show this one. That's when that love life that you want happens. That's when that unionship that you want happens. Because why would God send you a king or a queen and you out there acting like you a pauper? That you are unequally yoked mentally, physically, and more than likely spiritually. Why would God send you somebody that he knows that you will mess up that relationship? Now, outside of that, sometimes we get ahead of ourselves and we I'll just say this, children are born. They were meant to come. But then when that person becomes equally yoked, or when you both equally yoked though, you have no problems. I know several relationships where they said, oh, in fact, I just saw something the other day. Somebody was like, made this post and they was like, after 35 years, my parents are finally getting married. But they've been in each other's lives that long, even if the children became adults, right? They had to come to that place individually where they can say, I accept you long term, right? And when you find that person, they accept everything, they are able to understand everything. You are each other's accountability partners. I saw a post today and the lady said, me and my husband's been married, I think she said 3 or 4 years now. And she said, and we both help each other lose weight. She said, we're both 100 pounds down. You want somebody like that in your corner. You want somebody like that in your life. But you can't do that until what? You find balance in your own life, until you heal what needs to be healed. And that's not to say that you're not working on it, because we're all still going to be working on it, even when you do find that person, right? But when you get to the point where spirit can say, oh, no, this person is doing the work, this person is actually healing. Now let me look at the other person. Oh, this person is actually doing the work. This person is actually healing. Okay, now I can send them towards each other. Now I can create a situation where they find each other, right? So, and I think it's beautiful because again, when you can find a love story like, man, if you only knew how many toads, frogs, and snails I had to go through to get here, my God. And now I got this, baby, you're not going nowhere. We stuck. We comfortable. That's how it's going to be. You're just going to naturally mesh together because those broken pieces that you consider broken pieces, this person is also going to have the broken pieces that when y'all come together, they're going to mend the way they're supposed to mend. I'm actually seeing this in my head, by the way, my eyesight, my third eye. And it's going to be like y'all were broke in the right place to make each other whole. Unionship. The next two cards that came out, Seven of Swords. And then the Seven of Wands. And this comes out because it's like you transmuting that sneaky energy, that mental energy, that feeling unprotected energy, and you're trading it for feeling protected. That's what you do when you address those darkness and those dark places. You're saying, you're going from that always getting to look over your shoulder, always having suspicions of people, to really saying, oh, I'm comfortable now. I'm in a different headspace. I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't have to worry or think about what's coming after me, what's chasing me. What if, what if, what if? You won't have that. You're going to go in comfortably with a peace of mind. When you have peace of mind in all things dark, that is because you have accepted the darkness that's within. You have recognized this is what I do and how I spin out. And then you recognize, okay, what's the root problem of that? And you heal that root. And so now when the situation comes, you're just like, oh, I've grown over that. I don't have to act the same way. I'm going to come into the situation with peace because I know I'm protected. What I think could happen, oh, I'm going to be protected. Think about, so for example, I used to live in Durham, North Carolina. And one of the things that I kept hearing, oh, you don't want to go to Durham. It's people shooting out there. Everywhere you go, they shooting, they shooting, they shooting. And it had me scared to move to Durham. But Durham is where I flourish, right? And then on the flip side, one day I said to myself, I said, but hold up. These people had me scared, but I already know that I'm a protected individual. I already been through some things where something that could have happened didn't, because I am protected. Baby, I'm moving to Durham. And I know wherever I go, I'm going to be protected. And that's what happened. I never had any major instances, thefts or anything while I was there, like major thefts, let me put it that way. And I was protected everywhere I went. Now, did I go through some hell with some other folks? I did, but it wasn't enough to get me out of character. But what it did do is remind me who I am, who in the words of my good friend Kenya, who the I am. I am that bitch. That's what she would say. She said, I am that bitch, motherfucker. Like she would say that. And it's like, I am that person, right? I don't have to play small. And even with that, I can say it now, I left the major job that I was there working with. Even to the point where when I got another job and I start seeing the same stuff, oh, I didn't wait for months this time to see if, Spirit, are you really saying that I need to leave this job? I just got the job. No, I already knew my worth. Because that's where your darkness push you. Your darkness allow you to see those holes within to say, oh no, baby, I'm not going back to that part, that darkness no more. Darkness already showed me one time where I could end up, how close I could get to the rock bottom, to the negative rock bottom. I'm not going there no more. Peace, deuces, you can have it. And spirit will open doors for you. Why? And you're going to feel comfortable too. You're going to feel comfortable. And that's because, like I was saying, why? Because you're going to be protected and you're going to feel that protection and you're going to sense that protection and you're going to know that protection. You're going to know that when you walk in the room, it doesn't matter if you give me the death stare, baby, I'm the $1 million Barbie that wanted to walk through these doors and you can't touch me and you're mad about it. You want to say something about me, but you can't, because guess why? The light is on me. They see the lightness within me. So when you try to cast a stone and try to throw a shadow my way, baby, they see you. They see you with the dagger in your hand. They don't see me with any daggers because they see all of my authenticity. And that's where jealousy comes into play. That it's like when you know you doing right and you on a pedestal and somebody's jealous of you, baby, it shows up in their face. Why? Because your light illuminates the room, and darkness can't hide in light. Darkness gets seen and shown in light. But when you operate in darkness, baby, we were all in a dark room. I don't know who hit you in the head with a bat. I don't know who stabbed you in the back. Right. And that lets you live in fear. But when you walk in your truth and your light, baby, nobody can lie to you, because you hear and see the lie before it even comes, before it even forms. I wasn't going there, but that was a download for real. And then that leads to the next card. The next card is the death card. New perspective. When that old you die out and that new you arise, you got a new way you talk, you move, you dress. What did I say? The $1 million Barbie in the room. And I'm not saying, I'm not calling you plastic and fake, no. But everybody knows what's the vintage Barbies that they come out and they on sale for like thousands and thousands of dollars. That's you. You've been in the making this whole entire time. And so when Spirit says like, I'm going to present you to the world, everybody's got to look, because they're like, that's not the same. That's not what I thought was going to come out. That's not the person that I saw before. I think in the earlier reading in the spiritual progress report, how it came out was the butterfly. So I'm going to use it again. It's like when people try to cast you to the side and cast you out, their faces turn the opposite way. So while you was going through your darkness and while you was healing and you was that caterpillar that went into the cocoon, by the time they turn around, you've broken out of the cocoon. And you're not the same person that they saw before, that they talked to before, because everything about you is different. All they see now is a butterfly. They see somebody that's spreading their wings and doing wonderful things. And they're like, how did you get there? Don't worry about it. That was for me to know. That was it. This was my time to grow in the darkness. You try to bury me, but you forgot that I was a seed. Or maybe you didn't even know I was a seed. So the more darkness you put on me, that meant the more work I had to do to get out.
Go off. Go off.
And the more work that you do builds what? Strength and character and endurance. So when they try to throw things at you, it's like I'm laughing because I'm getting the visual of Popeye. When Popeye ate the spinach and somebody would try to shoot him, how them bullets would bounce off of him. It's just like all the little darts and things that they try to throw at you. It's like ping, ping, ping. Not even penetrating your skin, because you was already there. You already went through the boot camp. And then the next card that came out is the 10 of Pentacles. Baby, the 10 of Pentacles. Money, flow, money, resources, whatever you need is already there. And I'm hearing what I just heard was, and it's meant to last, because we know in tarot 10 is like the card before you go to that next level, before you start over. But I'm hearing it's meant to last. Your 10 of Pentacles is here. The 10 of Pentacles also has family on it. It represents money and resources. So it's like not only are all your dreams coming true, you're going to have resources to last. Why? Because now they're going to be attracted to you. Now you're going to start manifesting these things. Because why? Again, Spirit is not going to give you something that you're not ready for. Now you're ready for it. The last two cards, well, I'm not going to say the last two cards, but the next two cards that came out, and they kind of fell out together. But the main card is the Wheel of Fortune. Now things are turning out into your favor. There is, hold on, I'm getting something. Okay. What I'm hearing is that the wheel of time has slowed down so you could catch up to your blessings. Because some of you felt like I missed an opportunity. And Spirit is like, no, what you thought you missed, I'm slowing down time so that you can catch up. So that by the time you get to where you're supposed to go, the things that you thought, all those missed opportunities that you thought that you missed, was actually sitting there waiting for you to catch up. And they had, and the opportunities again had to wait till you took off those old garments and got rid of that old way of thinking and got rid of that old way of speaking. Because remember, we manifest what we speak. And you can't be looking for life stuff but speaking death, because you're going to kill your blessings every time. So you had to have there was this thing, don't y'all gonna laugh at me, I don't care, but there was this one thing that I remember as a kid from Sesame Street, and it was three pigs with wigs, and they had this song, I got a new way to walk, 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 I got a new way to walk, walk, walk. They had this little dance, but it was catchy, and I always remembered it because it's like, and I want to say, and it says, and I don't have to worry about anything or something like that. But it's like when you got a new way to walk, baby, you got a new attitude. Come on, Patti LaBelle. You got a whole new perspective on life, and nobody can stop that. And guess what came out with the Wheel of Fortune? The Three of Cups, celebration. Because that's all you're going to have time to do is celebrate. That's all people are going to do for you is celebrate. They're going to celebrate your wins. And now I'm hearing all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Come on.
That's what I was thinking of too.
Like, no matter what, I'm winning. And what Fantasia say? Sometimes you got to lose to win again, right? What do you have to lose and drop off and let go so that you can find your winnings, so that you can get your winnings? And this is the last card. It's another major arcana. We started with the major arcana and we ending with the major arcana. And it's the World card. You've ended one chapter and you're starting a new chapter. But what I've recently been hearing lately is you ended one era and you're entering a new era. So that's what I have for the collective.
I love that. I always was apprehensive whenever the World card would come out, because I was like, okay, does this mean that like something is turning for the worse or turning for the better? But when you think about it, if you put out good energy, if you put out authenticity, if you put out the truth, all that's going to turn in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
So the World card is a necessity. It's a necessity to create balance. So you only need to be afraid of the World card if you know that you've been putting out. Okay? That's the only time you should be afraid of the World card. But if you know that you've been real, 100, 10 toes down, then when the World card comes out, you don't need to be scared, because it's always going to turn in your favor. Always. Even when it looks like it's not, it's always going to turn in your favor. So thank you for that read, bestie, that we didn't even know we needed. You ate and left no crumbs as per usual. So thank you for that read.
You are welcome.
Guys, tonight, if you this live, I want you to take this. Do not run from your shadow, okay? Sit with it, hold its hand, and ask, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to teach me, honestly? Because the truth is, every light you have ever admired in the world, every light you have ever admired in the world only shines because it has a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
It only shines because it has a shadow standing behind it. Okay? Every person, every event, everything you have ever admired only shines because it has a shadow standing beside it. Because you can't have the sun without a shadow. you're going to always have a shadow when the sun is shining. So that's why you have to embrace that shadow. And speaking of embracing, y'all know what time it is.
Yes,
It's
it
time
is.
for y'all to embrace Ask B. This is the time where you can ask me anything under the sun, from relationships, from entrepreneurships, work related, anything, all right? That weird dream you had last night, nothing is really truly off limits when it comes to Ask B. So now is your time. And while you guys are pondering on what questions you're going to ask, or if a brave soul is even going to come forward to Ask B, we just want to take this time to say that we appreciate love, that we value you guys for being on this late with us, rocking with us this long, from our day ones to the ones that are just finding out about us. We appreciate y'all. We do this for y'all. We come on here at night, this late in the witching hour for you guys, because this is what our souls have been called to do. We are truly living in our North Node. I know Bestie and I always have this conversation about North Node, South Node, and it's quite ironic that I have a best friend that has the same North Node as me, which means we can be chin checking each other to make sure that we are on our path. Because when you steer off your path, that's when you steer off your blessings, okay? So I am truly grateful that we have the same North Node, because we're able to check in with each other and check each other's temperatures every now and then to make sure that we're on the right path. So thank you for not only being my best friend, but for checking me, because I need to be checked every now and then. So with that being said, anyone who has any questions, now is your time. And you guys can always DM me the questions if you're not comfortable coming on the live and asking in front of random people. Even though it's only 4 or 5 people on live, once I post this, it's going to get hundreds of views. So people are going to see it. They won't necessarily see you asking, but they may hear who's asking the question. So we totally understand if you guys don't feel comfortable asking your questions. You do have the option, to DM me or myself what your question is, and we will read it anonymously. That is an option, just so you guys know, FYI. Okay, so I
do have an announcement too. So I did venture into a new territory. So I'm still doing it's still, I just have a few things up right now, but I do have a few products on my page. I have a few t-shirts, and then I have one, I guess you would call it like a water bottle, but just go check it out. I specifically wrote specific things. There is one item is going towards the one with the phoenix on there. That was the first one I designed. Some of the proceeds, not all the proceeds, but some of the proceeds are going towards a domestic violence organization that I was a part of. So that's my way of giving back to them and letting them know, hey, I'm still connected. I'm not there physically anymore, but you get my full support. So please go check it out. It is called The Healer's Table, because you never know what you're going to find on The Healer's Table. So, and I'm all about healing. So please go check it out. Please go check it out.
I love you. Now, question, how would one find The Healer's Table? Is there a link in your bio?
Yes.
Okay, so just click the link in your bio and that will guide us to The Healer's Table?
Yes. There is a link in my bio on the Healing Room Tarot channel. So, yes.
And pause. I just noticed you're able to go live from this channel. Did something change?
So I think it's more so because your channel, I can go live with you, but I still can't go individually. I think that's how it works. So that's why I was like trying it. I was like, let me see if it's going to work. So that's why I was excited when I was like, oh my God, it worked. So we can do cards and conversations with the Healing Room Tarot, but as far as the spiritual progress report and any other single readings that I do have to only do that on YouTube for right now, because this channel is going to grow. This page is going to grow.
The words, you took the words out of my mouth. I was just gonna say, we know it's gonna go beyond 1,000 followers. So we know that one day it's gonna be, you're gonna be able to go live from that channel without having to have me on. I was just gonna say that.
Yes.
It's only inevitable.
Yes.
Look how many times you have been consistent with posting. Like, it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Speak it, thus it shall be. I love that for you. Well,
Yes.
I cannot wait to see that channel grow. I mean, look how many followers you have now, Bestie. I mean, let's be honest. Like, people that have started when you started still don't have as many followers because look, everyone within the sound of my voice, here is a little trick on how you can gain followers. The number one way to gain followers, consistency, guys. Sometimes it don't even matter what you're putting out. Not even gonna be funny. Like, sometimes it's not even about your content, it's about your consistency. Because somebody likes what you're putting out somewhere. Maybe it's not liked by the majority, maybe it's not liked by me, whoever, who cares? Somebody somewhere likes it. So as long as you're consistent with whatever you're posting, I guarantee you're going to build. Yes, realist. One here, add attention, but someone's gonna like it somewhere, and someone's going to latch onto it and say, "Well, this person, I don't know what they posting, but they damn sure consistent with posting, so I'm gonna follow." I'm telling you guys, consistency.
And that's what we want in our relationships too, is consistency. I was reading some things the other day, and somebody was like, "All I really want in a person is consistency. If you can show me that you're consistent, baby, I don't have any other worries."
That's true. That is very true, because that will solve a hell of a lot of more problems. Someone who's consistent, because you know that they're going to be there to help you solve those problems.
I'll be there.
Okay? Honestly, like, consistency can solve. Oh my God, guys, don't get me started. Look, don't get me started. So yeah, consistency. That is a big key in how I grew my channel, honestly. Because at one point I was just posting randomness. I'll be honest, because I'm a Sagittarius, so my mind is in 31 places, like Baskin and Robbins. Okay, so I was posting everything, but soon I had to like hone in on what I was gonna, focus on, and it became more so. Okay, let's just do this. Let's go this route. Let's take this avenue. Let's bend this curve right here. So, but yes, consistency will save you every time. So, if no one has any questions, B, thank you for that announcement, and we cannot wait to see your channel grow. This will conclude tonight's episode of Cards and Conversations. And guys, please remember, we do this every Tuesday, same time, same place. Cards and Conversations, where every episode,
unfolds an intriguing discussion.
And guys, always remember, the cards do not dictate your fate. They simply illuminate your choices. So choose wisely, love deeply, and always remember that you are in control. Okay? All right, guys, we love you. We'll see you next week at 11:11.
Yes.
Angel number time. Peace. Stay dangerous. Bye, bestie.
Bye.